What's up guys, Jeff with Top Star Mobile Detailing, Las Vegas. In today's video, we're gonna be covering 3 common questions that I get asked on a pretty regular basis. So we're actually here at a client's house right now. We're gonna jump into question number 1 is how to do a headlight restoration and my process for that. So we're gonna jump over to the vehicle and we'll begin the headlight restoration. Stick around for question 2 and 3 and we'll be covering that later in the video. Okay, so for the headlight restoration, the product that we're going to be using today is the Cerakote headlight restoration kit, if you guys can see that there. I have used this in the past and got really good results with it. It's really simple to use. You can pick these up just about anywhere, O'Reilly's or Walmart, Amazon. I want to say they're right around $15, $16 a kit. Yes, I know you can do this with a sander and that whole process as well, but for the video this go around, we're actually going to be just using this and showing you how this product works. That being said, we've already detailed the vehicle, so you want to make sure that the vehicle has been cleaned properly first. The headlight is absolutely clean, so we've done a thorough cleaning on this. The other thing is you want to make sure that the headlight is completely dry, bone dry when you're doing this. We're going to tape off the perimeter around here, just around the edges, so when we're sanding, in case we catch any of the edges of the paint, it doesn't wear on any of the paint. Reason why we have the hood open is we don't have to tape off that section. It just gives us a little bit more working room, and then you can access the top of the headlight a little bit better here as well. So that being said, we're going to start off with the tape. This is detailing tape. It's kind of like a painter's tape, but it's not quite as sticky, so it doesn't leave behind a bunch of residue on the car. It doesn't leave a bunch of adhesive behind on it. It's much easier to just peel off later. Oh, let me get a little better edge on there. All right. So we're just going to work that around the edges. All right, so we got everything laid out over here on the floor. If you can zoom in on this, there's 2 sets because there's 2 headlights, right? So we're gonna start off with step 1. This is ceramic headlight restoration kit. This is gonna be the oxidation remover. Not doing a good job ripping this open, but all right. So you're gonna take this little gauze pad that's soaked with oxidation remover and just gonna rub this around on the light like so. You can see it starting to kind of strip away the oxidation. They give you 4 of these and it says to use all 4, but I kind of base it depending on what you see on the, so you can see there's a little bit of the brownish color there. These actually aren't too bad. I've done some where like these are soaked with brown oxidation or whatever the hell it is on there. So we're just gonna work that around on there. You can already see that it's clearing up pretty well. Flip that one over. I don't think we're gonna need all 4 of these. So we're just gonna use 2 of these per light. These lights aren't really that bad, so it does say to use all 4, but it's kind of redundant. I mean, after using 2 of these, this is gonna take off pretty much everything that's on here. So for time saving purposes, we'll just use 2 per light and we should be good to go for the next step. So just curious to see how many of you guys out there have actually tried this product, what kind of results you got with it, like what's your feedback on it? Do you prefer using this kit, or do you have another kit that you use, or do you use the process where you actually sand it yourself? Drop it in the comments below. Let us know how you guys do your headlight restoration process. All right, so now that step 1 has been completed, we're gonna move on to step 2. What that entails is you're gonna take this little sanding disc. You start off with the reddish color, which is a 2000 grit sandpaper. You just put this on here. There's a little Velcro on the back. Put it on there like so. And then this is not actually panel prep in here. We were out of spray bottles and we just actually, this was an empty bottle that we filled with spot-free water. So you don't have to use prep or anything like that. This is just normal water. We're just gonna mist this down here, mist that. And then we're just gonna sand. You can feel the grit coming off the outer side of the light here.
Kind of like a clay bar, right?
Yeah, kind of like a clay bar. And you want to just keep this wet, guys, so it stays lubricated like here, and you can kind of rinse down that. And you want to keep sanding until you hear the grit go away. Like right there, I can feel it still grabbing. You can hear it catching stuff. Almost like a clay bar, like what Corum was saying there, where you just, once it feels smooth on the whole surface of the light, then we're gonna move on to the next sandpaper.
Okay, so it's not a time amount, it's you're going off feel.
Right, yeah, it's not based on time, it's based on feel and when the surface is smooth.
Gotcha.
So now that we're completed with the 2000 grit, it's moving pretty smooth with this now. It's really important to keep going until you don't feel any more grit, until you don't feel it grabbing with the 2000. Now we're gonna move over to the next sanding disc, which is a 3000 grit. That's gonna be the gray one. Again, that just sticks on there like so. Put that on. Gonna give this a little spray as a lubricant. And now we're gonna do the same exact process with this. And you can feel it again with this disc that it's starting to grab whatever's left on there. So this is just gonna be kind of like a finisher before we dry it and then put on the ceramic coating on the light.
Now, have you ever noticed any marring with these sanding discs?
I've never had any issues with any marring on the lights, no.
Okay. So Jeff, why do you prefer this method over, like, let's say sanding with a sander and then polishing with a DA?
I don't know, I think it's just super easy use. I don't have to get out the DA, I don't have to bust all that stuff out. Everything you need's right there in the little kit. I can knock out 2 of these lights in 45 minutes, less than an hour usually, so it's really simple to use. The cost on the products, I mean, super inexpensive, so I just find it easy. It just works for me. But again, let me know what you guys think. Do you prefer this method, or which method do you guys like to use?
What do you charge your clients for this service?
That's a great question. So for the pair, for the headlights, it's $100 for the restoration. So you can't just do one light at a time with this. It is a kit, so it does require both lights. Again, most people always want both lights done too. I've never had anyone that just said, I just want one light done. So. But let me know on that. Have you guys ever had anyone that just said, no, I just have one light that I need to do? For me, it's always been the 2.
And what do you detailers charge for your headlight restoration?
Yeah.
Jeff, real quick, what do you do when you have one of those weird looking headlights where the disc doesn't really fit and it kind of goes all over the place?
Yeah, that's a really great question too. So the cool thing about this is you could just peel this off of here, and then you could just kind of fold it if you need to get in like little small areas like that, or if it's like a bend that you want to work around, you know, or a corner or something where you can't really get that disc in, you could just use the edge of it like that, like so. So you can pretty much get in any area with these.
Gotcha.
Do you ever have that issue? Just talking to you now, with the way you do it with getting into the small areas?
No.
No? What do you do when it's on the rotary or the DA?
I have a small DA.
Oh,
like
okay.
this big.
Yeah.
So I know you said you went off feel, but typically how long does doing 2 headlights take you?
Depends on the headlights and how bad they are. This set, probably about 15 minutes per light, you know. We're going a little slower just because we're filming and talking, but I would say probably about 15 per light. If they're really bad and you have to work this for a while, 25 minutes per light, done in an hour.
So you're making definitely over 60 bucks an hour.
Yeah, after the cost of the kit, like I said, it's around $15, $16. Works out to about 85 bucks an hour.
That's really not bad.
Yeah, not bad for a headlight restoration. All right, so before we move on to the final stage of the process where we're gonna put the ceramic on, it's really important to rinse this all off. You can use a spray bottle like this, you can use your pressure washer, but you just wanna rinse everything down, get all that remaining residue off of there. And then it's super important that you dry the light really, really well. It needs to be bone dry before you put on the ceramic. So we're gonna dry it with a towel, and then I have the air tool over here where we're gonna hit it with that, just kind of blow out any extra moisture from the cracks and crevices. If you don't have an air tool, it's not a big deal. You can still do it with a towel. Maybe just wait a few minutes for it to completely dry out. And then just make sure that it's dry before you begin the final step.
Hey Jeff, I've never used this product before. Why does it look worse than when we started?
Yeah, so a lot of people will see this their first time doing it and they'll freak out. I know I did when I first did it. I was like, oh shit, I think I just screwed up this light, right? But it's actually normal that it looks like this. Once you put on the ceramic, it's gonna make it nice and crystal clear. So don't get like weirded out when you see this. It is part of the process, and it will go away on the next step. We'll show you how it works once we apply the ceramic.
So does the ceramic basically just fill all those cracks? Or actually, I don't want to ask that. That was stupid.
Because I don't fucking know either. So. Like, I don't fucking know, Corum.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
This is going to be the ceramic clear coating. Very important. You want to make sure you're wearing gloves for this. Don't use your bare hands. They actually include some gloves with the kit, so if you don't have them, I just prefer these nitrile gloves. These are kind of cheap, shitty gloves, so I don't use those. Take this out of the little pouch, and when you put this on, you're just going to start at one side, like so, like here, and we're just going to bring that across slowly. And then we're gonna come back, and you just kind of overlap each pass.
So kind of like you're doing an actual ceramic coating.
Yeah, similar to that.
Crisscross pattern.
Similar, see the difference in the clarity already?
That looks a lot better.
And you just take your time with it. Make sure that you cover each area. Don't rush. You don't want to be doing this in direct sunlight too. I should point that out. You want to be in a shaded area or a garage possibly. That's going to take a few minutes to dry. It's important that you don't get this wet afterwards either. So make sure that you don't get any water on this. The ceramic needs to dry. If you get water on it, it's going to leave water spots or streaks on there. So it's really important that you don't get it wet afterwards. Okay, so this is going to be the finished product. This is what it looks like. Sometimes there's a little bit on the inside of the glass and there's not really anything that you can do about that. I have had that happen before where, you know, it is what it is, but this cleared up really well. If you could come around over here, we'll show you what the other one looks like so Corum can kind of compare the two for you guys.
Super foggy on that one. Nice and clear.
Perfect.
All right, Jeff, you've moved on to the second headlight, but I have a question.
Go ahead.
Is this included in any of your detail packages? And if it's not, how do you pitch this to customers?
Yeah, so it's not actually included with any of my packages. It would be considered an add-on to a package. What I will typically do is if I arrive to a detail and I notice that the lights were looking like they were when we showed up, I will offer that as a suggestion. I always keep one of these kits in the trailer with me at all times. And I'll just say, hey, you know, your headlights are looking really rough. I could get those cleaned up for you, have them looking like new, only take about an extra hour. Is that something that you'd be interested in? And then they'll usually ask me, you know, like, what are the benefits of it? Why would I want to do that other than it just looking good? And I'll say, you know, it does help with clarity of the light beams coming through at night. Gives you a little bit better vision when you're driving at night. So your beams will carry out further. They won't be like foggy, you know, so you'll be able to see a lot better. And I'd say about 50% of the customers that have headlights like that will end up going through with the headlight restoration. So it's a pretty easy add-on, guys. It's a pretty easy upsell. Like I said, it does average out to about $80 to $85 an hour, depending on how proficient you are with following the process. But it's very simple, and for me, you know, it just makes sense. Let me know what you guys think. Is this a kit that you would use, or let me know what your process is, and what do you guys charge for headlight restorations as well?
All right, Jeff, I can already see the comments below. How many of these do you do a month?
Yeah, so not too many. It's not like I'm doing these like all the time. I would say maybe 2. Probably about average, about 2 per month. So, you know, it's not anything crazy, but, you know, sometimes it's 4 or 5, sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's none, but probably averages out to about 2 per month. All right, so you can see the finished product. That's how I do the process for headlight restoration using the kits. We're gonna grab our top star plate off of here and we're gonna head on to the next spot and answer question number 2 for you. So let's go.
Let's go.
All right, so we just pulled up at the second location. As you guys can see, we're gonna be doing a Lamborghini Urus. So, second question that I get asked a lot is how to detail cars with a wrap, specifically a black wrap. This is a black matte wrap. So here in the real world as a mobile detailer, you know, we don't have access to a shop. We're not in a controlled environment. I do get asked a lot how you detail these type of vehicles with the matte wraps out in direct sunlight. We're not actually in direct sunlight right now, but we are outside. It's later in the day, so it's a little bit, we got shade. Ideally, when you're detailing these type of vehicles with the wraps, you want to be doing it in the shade. If at all possible, you want to try to seek out some shade and do it in that. It doesn't mean that you can't do it in direct sunlight. It's just a little bit, you have to work a lot faster when you're in direct sunlight, and you have to be more mindful of things like the soap dwelling on the actual wrap, because you don't want that to sit on there very long, especially in sunlight where it will leave little stains on the mats. So I'm going to show you the process that I follow when I'm detailing vehicles with wraps like you see here.
All right, man, so you just got done with the wheels, looking brand new. What foam are you using?
The foam I got in the foam cannon is GSF. It's a gentle snow foam by Coach Kemi. I really like this product. It's really great for working on wraps. especially if you're in direct sunlight. It's a good product that you can use in the summertime. Again, you don't want to let it dwell on the actual wrap for a long period of time. We're in the shade, so we have a little bit more working time. So we're going to get started. Playing pool in like a pool hall, and you're like at that spot up against the wall, and you're trying to make the shot still, and you're like people are gonna be like, well, you don't actually need to use the mitt and the stick over there. Well, I am using it, damn it.
All right, bro, you foamed down the vehicle. I saw you did the top with the mitt on a stick. Now you're doing the sides. Are there any extra precautions that you take when you're doing a wrapped vehicle?
Yeah, those are some great observations there, Corum. No, I mean, as far as extra precautions go, I just try to be really careful, you know, go a little bit maybe slower on the vehicle. You know, it's not really any different than washing a vehicle with paint on a wrap, at least not for this stage. It is a little bit different with the pressure washer. We're gonna switch to the white tip on that, and then you're gonna wanna hold it a little bit further away from the vehicle, as opposed to when you're on paint, you can get up a little closer to it. You do have to be more cautious with a wrap vehicle that you don't get up that close to it.
Okay, man. So the last question that I think detailers are gonna wanna know, what do you use at the end when you're rinsing it off? Do you use your Geon wet coat? Do you put like a hand wax on it? What do you do?
No, that is a good question. I'm sure a lot of people are wondering that. I actually don't use anything on, especially on like a matte wrap. I don't use wet coat. You definitely don't want to wax it or anything like that. I just finish washing it and then dry it and then just let it go. I mean, with the wrap, it doesn't really need to be wet coated or anything like that. The wrap is designed to perform a certain way, and you're not really going to enhance it by using like a wet coat or wax or anything like that. It just doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
So you can see what I'm talking about earlier when I said I don't really need to put a wet coat on there or a wax. Most wraps are going to be somewhat hydrophobic, like you see here, where the water, it just kind of beats up and rolls right off it. You really don't need to put that product on there. And using something like a wet coat or a spray sealant could actually leave streaks on the wrap, so I just avoid it altogether. But let me know what you guys do. Do you use anything on your wraps when you're doing your details, or do you just leave it as is? Drop it in the comments below. Okay, so that was my process on how I detail wrap vehicles. Let me know if there's something different that you guys do. Drop that in the comments below. That closes out our question number 2, and we're gonna be moving on to question number 3. So let's head out. So we're here at the next location. Question number 3 that we get asked a lot is, how do we tackle pet hair, right? So in this video, we're gonna break it down into 4 different quarters. We're gonna do 1 mat for each quarter, and we're gonna use these different products that you see here. So for one of the mats, we're gonna use the lily brush and the vacuum. Second mat, we're gonna use the uproot clean and the vacuum. Third mat, we're gonna just use the drill brush with the vacuum. And then the fourth mat, we're gonna divide into 2. We're gonna do just half straight vacuum and then half with the Tornador blowout tool to see what works best. Let me know what you guys use for your pet hair cleanups, and let's jump into the video. For mat number 1, we're gonna be using the lily brush teamed up with the vacuum to see how it performs. Corum actually just brought it to my attention that there's actually only 2 mats in the vehicle, not 4. So what we're gonna do for this example is just divide each mat down the middle, and we'll break it up for half the mat, and do the same thing with the other one. So you can see the results that the Lily brush provided. Fairly simple work, wasn't too much. Again, this pet here, it's short pet here. These are fairly new mats, so it's coming off fairly easy using the Lily brush. That being said, I'm gonna grab the Uproot Clean tool and we'll use that on the second half of the mat. So here we are on the second half of this mat. For this product, we're gonna be using the Uproot Clean. Let's see how this does the job. Based on what I've just shown you there, I would say the Uproot Clean is the win between that and the Lily brush, at least working on flat surfaces where it's easy to get in and out of. Where it's a little bit more tight, cramped spaces, you might want to use the Lily brush, just easier to get in those hard to reach areas. Let me know what you guys think. Have you used both of these products and what kind of results have you got? So we are going to be dividing this mat in half again. For this half of the mat, we're going to use the drill brush, and let's see how this works on the pet hair. Results with the drill brush, that came off pretty quickly with that. I'd say it's fairly close to using the brushes. It really just comes down to personal preference, I think, between the three. I do like using the drill brush when there's a lot of other debris in the carpets as well besides the dog hair, especially around the edges, along the door jambs, where it tends to collect and get trapped in those areas. You can use that to kind of loosen that up and break it up. Last one, we're gonna use just straight vacuum in the Tornador. So I'm gonna grab the Tornador and we'll bring that over. For the last one, we got the Tornador here. We're gonna use this in combination with the vacuum. Let's see how it works. Okay, I gotta say, to those who doubt the Tornador, based on what we just seen, that was super easy. I barely just even used this back and forth a couple times, and you can see it took off all of the pet hair. I didn't even really have to use the vacuum on this. So, to be honest with you, I was kind of a little jaded against the Tornador for a while, but using it like we just did, based on those results, I'm pretty impressed with the way that that took it off. I don't know if it was a combination of the new carpets or the hair not being that deeply ingrained, but I mean, that worked fantastic actually. So I don't know what you guys think, but based on what I've seen, I would give the win to the Tornador on that one. Let me know what you guys think. Again, what do you use for your pet hair removal products, your pet hair removal tools, or if you have any specific methods that work really well for you, if you got good results, please share them in the comments below. Below. Yeah, put them below. Okay, so that closes out question number 3, how we tackle pet hair. You got to see some of the different products and tools that we use to remove pet hair. Let us know what you guys do, what's your process, and how you tackle pet hair. That being said, we're gonna close out this video and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.